Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. This is going to be a human versus undead game on Twisted Meadows. I'm going to be playing human, spawned at the bottom right. I'm going to be doing a somewhat unorthodox troll type strategy. It can be effective sometimes, as you're going to see here. I get a little bit lucky, but basically what I'm going to be doing is fast building the altar with 5 peasants immediately. Now this is going to cost me quite a lot of lumber as well as mining time for the gold mine, so using all the workers, of course. So, but the benefit is you're going to get your hero out much faster than you normally would. Now, depending on the undead player's build order, and again, I'm going to sort of troll chat again the enemy. You can see, but yeah, if the enemy's doing a fiend build, he with a really late altar, he is going to be in for potentially a lot of trouble from this strategy, assuming I scout, which again, it's a 4 spawn map, so I do need to scout. And it would be a little bit better if I scouted before I finished building the altar. But if you do it afterwards, you notice how this peon is almost to the second of the 3 spawn points that I need to scout. So while my hero right now I don't know, here in a few seconds I'm going to know. And I also send my hero to mitigate this issue. I send the Archmage towards the center. So if he was at the top left spawn, you know, I'd be halfway there. Maybe he's at the bottom left spawn, I'd be sort of halfway there as well. And the main reason I do this and I scout is because the only justification for getting this hero early is to get some damage like I'm about to do. I show up and I'm going to get water elemental because that sort of maximizes the damage to buildings arguably, and it also is pretty versatile later on. But anyway, I'm going to go immediately for this ziggurat. It looks like it was, you know, maybe 60-70% of the way finished, and the timing is going to work out with the hero and these water elemental attacking over and over and over again. I got to cancel that ziggurat or destroy it if he didn't cancel it, but I assume he canceled it. So now he's going to be trying to chase me off with his 3 lumber ghouls. Now this is going to cost him resources, so again, this is also sort of mitigating the cost to power build that altar. So he's going to be going back and forth, and he can't really, without the Nerubian tower hitting me, these ghouls are really going to be more of a nuisance than anything else. Now obviously the damage is going to force me to back up once his Death Knight comes out because of Death Coil, but if he's focusing the Archmage, he's not focusing the water elementals, and vice versa. So I'm going to get this graveyard canceled. Actually, no, he did not cancel that. He let me destroy it. So that was a huge mistake on his part. And he's also continuing to follow me with these lumber ghouls. He doesn't have unholy aura, so there's no real way he can chase me down. And even if he does, I can just run into creeps at like the worst case scenario. And he probably won't get the experience in that situation. So this is just a bad decision on his part to really chase me. I don't even think he knows where I am right now as far as spawn points. So I'm going to send a couple of footmen, and I'm going to go back to his base because it looked like his Tome of Relics was, and it definitely is, far away from his Nerubian tower. So if I'm like attacking, you know, along this top part, or maybe like right here with the footmen, he's not going to be hitting me with the towers, and so this is a vulnerable point in his base. He's going to want that for a Rod of Necromancy later, for statues, potentially for destroyers. So, or town portals, healing potions, etc. So destroying that is going to hurt him pretty bad. And going into my base right here with just 3 ghouls, again, I've got something like probably 10 lumber peasants or something. I got an arcane tower up, so he's not really going to do any damage here with that. So now if you look at his wood count, he's only got 160 lumber right now. And if he wants to rebuild that shop, that's going to be another 30. So he can't tech right now. I've got plenty of resources to tech. Actually, I should be teching right now, honestly. I should have already started teching, but I'm just really sort of taking it easy. This guy's not, you know, the toughest opponent, to be honest. But anyway, he TPs, and I still kill his Death Knight. So now, you know, I'm just like, what? I'm going to back up, you know. I could stand in here and fight him, but he's got 3 Nerubian towers now. I don't want to get near those. I could probably, you know, pull these 2 footmen back and send the other 2 footmen to kill these ghouls, but I decide just to go creep and do whatever at a certain point when this hero comes back. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to creep out. I've done about as much sort of cost-effective damage as I can. He's got something like 7-8 ghouls here, maybe. and they're all pretty much in the green. I've need to heal. I don't have that many footmen. I've got 6, and I'm healing them. So I'm gonna attack. And I say something about I already beat you, so now I'm gonna look for the real challenge, the creeps. So in terms of a gameplay insult, that's pretty good. To imply that the creeps or suggest the creeps are better than he is, but that's not exactly true. I wouldn't really say, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this mercenary camp. I pick up, all 4 of the mercenaries. I've just got a bunch of resources, and I'm like, well, you know what? I haven't finished teching. Why not? Just grab all these mercenaries and do this real quick. So I do the camp. I've got the healing from the priest. The mud golem, I need to avoid the damage because he's only got 240 hit points, no armor. He takes extra from normal attacks, which are going to be the ogre. The ogres do normal damage. And also the rock golem, if he starts hitting the mud golem, he does normal damage. So, but anyway, I make another comment about him destroying that farm. He's going to be creeping this shop. He doesn't have the, I don't think he's got the unit count or the micro to really do this safely. Notice he's taking a lot of damage. He's actually lost at least 1 ghoul. I think he maybe lost 2 there actually. I wasn't looking when it happened, but yeah, he's really cutting it close with some of these ghouls, using cannibalize. If they're not doing damage to these creeps, I mean, it's a pretty tough call. I don't know if there's like a limit on cannibalize. I assume that there is, but I should actually know that. If you just sit there, will it just heal you to full, regardless if you keep taking damage, or is it like a limit? I'm not sure. There. So, but anyway, I'm gonna create the lab here. I think I use it to reveal. I might use it to reveal like his main base and his gold mines or something. We'll see on the mini map. Turn the fog of war back on for a second so I can look. The only thing I'm really worried about now is potentially an expansion, though I don't really think he's got one, but it is one thing that actually, I might not reveal his expansion. I was almost sure that I did. Okay, there goes one. I revealed this gold mine. He had not crept it. You'd think I would reveal this one, but doesn't seem to be. So I reveal like the path towards his base. I don't want to get webbed. I don't know what kind of units he's got right now. He might have fiends. And I've got the Zeppelin loaded up. 2 Zeppelins actually loaded up with stuff. So I want to go harass his base. And I'm going to do a strategy now that me and Jake have dubbed the sneaky peasant or the sneaky peon strategy. I mean, I haven't got it ready to go yet, but basically what the strategy consists of is getting a couple of mortar teams and like knocking mortar teams or demolishers, or even I guess glaive throwers could do it too, but oh, I'll set a sapper that destroyed 2 Nerubian towers. So he killed a farm, so I took 2. That was my little joke there. But anyway, the strategy is you get like mortar teams or demolishers that can destroy trees with attacking the trees, and you break a hole somewhere behind their tree line, their lumber line. You don't want them to see you doing this, of course. You want it to be a secret, because the plan is to use the Zeppelins and drop the demolishers and or mortar teams into the hole and build towers. Now you want the towers to get up before you sort of reveal your plan and start attacking their gold mine, their buildings, and everything else. And it's really a little bit awkward trying to fight somebody like that. You need air units or like meat wagons or something, and it's not a very unusual strategy. It can be very effective. It does take a lot of time to set up, a lot of effort and resources. You got to get Zeppelins. You got to bring all these peasants over there and mortars and stuff. You've got to have time to get the towers up, and you also sort of have to hope that they didn't you want to make sure you don't his ghouls are harvesting over here, so I can't really do it on this side. But like if he was about to break open this tree line, I wouldn't, I want to be careful about where I sort of start my towers, because obviously they need time to finish, especially if they've got some means to stop them, like air units or fiends or meat wagons or something. The longer it takes them to notice it, generally the more effective it's going to be. Also, with this strategy, you probably want to get something in your base, maybe a couple of towers, just in case they counter. Because right now, if he just countered, depending on what his army is, if he had he's got an abomination, couple of fiends, about 4 ghouls it looks like, so that's not really super scary. But if you had like a lich and maybe like 6 fiends, an orb, his Death Knight, statues, you could just run in this base, and militia alone and this one arcane tower would not be able to fend that off without my army. So, yeah, and I don't really want to go defend my base. What I want to do is get the towers up. I mean, I don't have to, I can get the towers up and TP and defend my base, but it's sort of awkward to do that and stuff. So, but anyway, that's gonna be what I'm going for. I'm gonna break a hole here. Gotta make sure I've got plenty of room to maneuver around. He does have a spirit tower right here, so that's actually a decent position to defend against this. But I mean, it's still not. I mean, the mortars have extreme range, so he could probably hit like I'm guessing his range. He might be able to hit these towers from here. I'm not honestly too sure. But he doesn't have vision. You would hope right now, unless he has air units, he's not going to see what's going on over here. So I've got a couple of gyros or flying machines. So the reason to get a couple of flying machines or maybe dragon hawks or something is if he does happen to have like a gargoyle or two here. See, I guess. Yeah, if he does happen to have a gargoyle or two, you want to be able to like put some damage on there, and or if you got a zeppelin, he's going to drop over here, which it looks like he's going to do. If I would have been paying close attention, I might have been able to destroy that over trees, which would have been, it would have killed like his whole army. It looks like actually he did lose a bunch of units. He lost his hero. He lost a ton there, actually dying over the trees and the towers. So yeah, success there. I didn't actually realize that happened, but in the game. But yeah, this is silly trying to do this with abominations, and like there's no way you can just get in there and fight me. He's got to do something else. Meat wagons and probably just unsummoning these is going to give him the best chance. Though if he starts unsummoning too much, I mean, I just get in the zeppelin, come over here. You still got to defend and be able to fight me or whatever, but getting away from like 4 or 5 towers is generally a good idea. This sort of situation, he can't get the abominations in there. His Death Knight, all these things. He's not going to be able to leverage any of that. Like these ghouls, he's not going to be able to utilize those forces to do anything to these towers and stuff, unless, like I said, he drops it. But then he's got to get through the towers and the flying machines, so not really likely that he's going to do that. Actually, this Black Citadel is 800 range, so it can reach. The Black Citadel has a lot of range. I didn't actually realize it was 800, but apparently. But he's only getting vision when I get the attacks on him. These mortars, I don't think he can see them until I'm actually attacking, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yeah, he's not attacking it right now. Okay, maybe that spot is just out of his range. It looks like he's trying to build some necropolises, but again, this game his economy is gone completely. He's not expanding anywhere, so he doesn't have an altar. It looks like he's only got 2 ziggurats. I mean, there's no way he can like come out of this and really win unless I disconnect or something, honestly. So, or like went AFK and he was able to, do some stuff. But I don't know exactly why he got those 2 shade pits. That seems, maybe he was suspecting tanks or something. I don't know. But anyway, though, this game is mostly over. That's the strategy, though. Sneaky peon. Again, it's not exactly. It's easiest to do this with orc or human. While you could do it with elf, it's really, I mean, the elf towers, I'm not too, I don't like the elf towers as much. With 2 levels of masonry, that's 7 armor for this. I think they start at 5 armor. I don't know, but the ancient protectors, I think, only start at like 1 or 2 armor before they get nature's blessing. But and their DPS, I don't think is quite as high. And then glaive throwers, they don't have, I mean, I guess they're not that much different from like mortars, but you do need that upgrade. You need the Vorpal Blades upgrade to actually destroy trees with glaive throwers. So you don't need that with demolishers, you don't need that with mortar teams. But those are tier 2 versus you can build glaive throwers at tier 1. But the Zeppelins, it's hard to get those early, so you really can't do this strategy honestly before tier 2, unless you like, if you like destroy if you break through the trees with, something else, flame strike, force of nature, you know, peons. You know, you might be able to sneak through there and do that, but I generally take ghouls. You can do it with ghouls, but generally it's going to take forever. So it's, you know, you can really sort of, you don't have to deviate too much in terms of your timing and strategy if you do it with. He's actually still in the game. He collected that mortar team. That's a bit silly, but yeah, you know, you don't have to deviate. I just had to get mortar teams and, you know, a lumber mill, and that's it. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the strategy. I got the workshop for the flying machines if you want to get those, but I mean, you need the workshop for the mortars anyway. Um, so yeah, you can still sort of do regular stuff. You know, you can play a regular game and then just sort of transition to this if you feel like it's a good idea. Obviously, if he's like mass gargoyles or something goofy, mass wind riders, it's going to be harder. He said something about a hack, which again, if you watch his replay, you will see that's very unlikely. But anyway, I think I had a flying machine that actually went over that necropolis. If you know, if you were watching and thought, how did I know? I was sort of speeding it up there, but yeah, I did see it. I think with a flying machine, if I remember correctly. So, but anyway, you can sort of play a regular game mostly, and then just sort of transition to this sneaky strategy. Again, it's a bit risky, like I said. If they have mass gargoyles, or you know they've already gotten to destroyers somehow, or they're wind riders or bat riders or something, you know, and you try to fly your zeppelin over there, and they have vision. You know, especially if they have bat riders. You know, one bat rider over the trees with a zeppelin, you might lose your whole army. You know, or something like that. You don't. Obviously, that's gonna be game over, but pretty much. But yeah, even if they have wind riders, that could happen. And then, you know, you've got to finish the towers there before that's really safe. So then, otherwise, you need some other anti-air like flying machines. But you would need a lot of flying machines to really fight off mass wind riders. Like you would probably need like 8 to 12, maybe with some upgrades, depending on how many wind riders you're looking at, depending on their hero. The you know the Blade Master is not going to be that amazing unless he's got an orb against flying machines. Same with Tauren. The Shadow Hunter, Serpent Wards are pretty solid against air, I guess. But anyway, you know the big thing is keeping it a secret. You know the name of the strategy is Sneaky Peon or Sneaky Peasant, Sneaky Towers, whatever you want to call it. The main thing is that helps you is sneaking them. You know, players aren't really likely to be constantly trying to check their, you know, behind their trees. You know, they're not thinking, oh, you know, this guy might be, you know, if you sneak off for like, you know, 30 seconds in a Zeppelin, you know, it might be hard for them to say, oh, where is this guy? I don't know. But they probably aren't going to assume you're drilling a hole in their trees and building towers there. It just doesn't really happen that often. And it's a fun strategy. Even the guy in this game you mentioned, you know, it's a cool strat. I mean, it's a little bit cheesy, but again, it's, you know, it's out of the ordinary. It's fairly effective. I mean, there are counters, but if you haven't really seen this or aren't expecting it, it's kind of difficult to transition to the counter quickly enough to stop it once once they're attacking like your gold mine. You know, he could have unsummoned his haunted gold mine, but he needs enough resources to field the counter, which would probably just be meat wagons, like 2, 3, 4 meat wagons could probably pull it off. So if he could unsummon his haunted gold mine, maybe his altar, maybe even his crypt and his shop or something like that, just just whatever he needs to do to get 4 meat wagons on the field, 2 to 4 meat wagons, probably gives him the best chance. I mean, yeah, knocking, completely shutting down, by unsummoning your gold mine and shutting down your income, that's a massive risk. If you can't like break through the siege, you're within a really short time, that's they're still going to be able to overwhelm you because they're still mining probably. So that's sort of the problem, especially with undead, because their gold mine is going to be right there by the haunted gold mine is right there near the tree line typically. Similar with elf, the entangled gold mine, you can destroy that from the tree line pretty easily. But again, generally you can also hit town halls from there. The mortar team and demolisher range, the glaive thrower range, it is extreme. So it's generally possible to knock out their income source with this type of strategy. At the very least, you could like attack ground on the line between their town hall and their gold mine if they're like human or elf. Human or orc, and kill the peasants or at least do a bunch of damage to them and then force them to stop mining. So that's really the that's the core of the strategy. Uh, you know, certain maps are much harder. Certain maps, I guess, don't have goblin laboratories. Um, so you can't, obviously, you won't be doing it with a Zeppelin. I mean, you can still do this on like Turtle Rock or something like that. Uh, you know, you can knock holes in trees and get to places, but if you have to, if the hole you knock into, you know, the path you clear through trees, you have to go by ground. Well, then that opens it up for them as well. I mean, you can obviously close it with buildings and stuff too. Plus, they, you know, hopefully won't know where it is anyway. But if they see you somewhere and there's no Zeppelin, well, they know, hey, there must be some way he cleared this, and then they'll go find it potentially. But anyway, so some maps are good, and some maps you can do this easier. Some maps it's harder. Turtle Rock is probably one of the harder ones to do it on. Again, there's no Zeppelin, and there's not like the massive amount of trees behind bases. You know, it's much easier to get spotted trying to do it. It's really awkward. You know, based on the way the map's set up, I think. So that's not the most likely thing to do. I mean, you can still do it. I think I've seen. I want to say that there was a player back in the day, like MTW Taker or something. He was an orc player. He wouldn't really always do it with Zeppelins or anything, but he would very often he would utilize towers and sneaking them up somewhere in sort of preparation to attack or siege a base or something. Um, so that was sort of his thing, and again, he had some success with it. I mean, he was obviously a high level player anyway, I think, but it was always fun to see. You know, I mean, I say it's fun. It's probably really frustrating to sort of lose to. I mean, I've lost to tower pushes and stuff before, so some situations towers do seem incredibly efficient. Um, you know, orc towers with fortified armor and human towers with 3 masonry upgrades and, you know, early ancient protectors and stuff like that. You know, but against like tier 1 and 2 units. Uh, so So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this audio. Hopefully you enjoyed the troll chat and the trollish type strategy. Again, this guy was not like the highest caliber player or anything. I think his APM was under 100. Um, some questionable decision making as well. But I thought the game was pretty fun. So and the strategy is pretty funny. So so yeah, this is ScryMind signing out.